We have a call coming in from
Someone's
Mr.
calling.
Yeah, from Mr. Derek O'Donnell. Derek? Brian
Yes,
Terry in
hello.
here. How are you? I saw your name flash up on the screen. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Yeah, how can I help you?
Yes, I just wanted to kind of give us a positive story if I could. First of all, I want to say that you guys do some great work. I really appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I had, unfortunately, a catastrophic heart problem kind of emerge a few years ago. I had to have reconstructive heart surgery, and part of it was helpful heart, part of it was not successful. And my doctors at the time, towards the end of 2022, applied for disability for me, and I did receive that actually within 5 months.
Great.
I did, however, me being me, I'm a nurse. I worked in healthcare for 42 years up until recently. I kept pushing for a couple of years on some jobs. And this April, I simply had to quit because my doctor ordered me to, because we had to triple the medications to control my problem. And I was failing at my job. I got failing scores on reviews, and I never had. The challenge has been the last 4 months is getting the reinstatement of the benefits, because I'm still in the 36-month extended benefit period.
Mm-hmm.
It took 4 months and a lot of pushing on some buttons, but I recently did get May and June back payments just last week.
Beautiful.
It was April 17th. I had to walk away from the job, and my doctor's in full support and is, very supportive. I have a good relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
And just want to report that, pushing on the right buttons, and it can work. And I believe organizations like yours are very valuable. And just wanted to kind of give that as a positive light for somebody if it helps anybody.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I just want to make sure I get it. So you returned to work. Tell me, how long did you work for again?
About a couple of years, actually.
Okay. So you went through your trial work period of, yep.
The 9 months. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And when I did that, Social Security called me and sent me a letter saying, hey, you're going through the 9-month trial work period. We're not going to pay you, but at any time, if you can't work in the next 3 years, you call us.
Yep.
And I kept that letter, and I have all my letters from the last couple of years in this process and all my forms. And it was my impression that the Social Security office is so overwhelmed, and they have some process problems, I can tell, because it was a tedious 4 months. At least I got the back pay, and hopefully I'm in the process now going forward for the benefits is my hope. I did, in the original letter, Brian, get an indication that within 5 to 7 years they're going to do a CDR.
Mm-hmm.
That would put me somewhere in 2027, right around there, or in that time frame in 2027 would be 5 years.
Yep.
But I do go see my doctor every 2 to 3 months. Like I said, unfortunately, we had to go from 2 meds to about 7 meds now to control my heart problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm diligent on that. I think all the advice you give is right on point. So I worked in healthcare for 42 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just want to give that. I'm sorry. I'm going to do a shameless plug. I'd love to work with you guys somehow, if it were possible. I'd like to do that. If you thought I could bring some benefits to yourself and your clientele, I would love to do that.
Oh, that would be wonderful. So, yeah, I mean, I'm making a list of a few key things that I want to just point out to you, but I can definitely talk about the working in the CDR. But I did have one question for you, Derek, before I could get into that. Is if you could explain to the audience what happened with your Medicare coverage when you went back to work for 2 years.
Yes. So I was not offered Medicare until 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I thought I could push forward a little more with my work life, and I declined it in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a process where I had to send in a form and make a couple of phone calls to Medicare
Mm-hmm.
to do that process. And that way, then I'm not penalized in the future because I had coverage with an employer. This year, in 2024, I was offered again Medicare, and I knew that I was declining, and I had to have an exit plan for my career. My doctor was telling me for actually the last 12 months I needed to quit.
Okay.
So I accepted Medicare. Locally, I'm in the St. Louis area.
Mm-hmm.
I know some local MA plans that I used to work with peripherally when I was working in leadership positions in healthcare down here.
Mm-hmm.
And I joined an MA plan. And that's always an adventure, as I'm sure you know.
Yep.
Because they might mean well, but what the brokers advertise isn't exactly what you may get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why CMS gets all those complaints in the CTMs, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, we try to avoid those.
Yeah, yes. Well, this plan I'm with right now is 5-star, but I found a lot of holes in the plan already, and I've only been with them since April.
Okay.
So it's it pays, an organization like yours, I'm sure can help filter out some of those things for people.
Right.
And keep it, more of a straight line of getting the service that they're paying for, because there is a payment in process. And I don't know if you want to talk about IRMAA or not, but IRMAA's been a real big surprise to me, and not a positive one.
So, I am not familiar with IRMAA, or maybe I am, and it's not.
Yeah. So my interpretation of it, and like I said, I've worked in all parts of healthcare for a long time. My interpretation of it is that, what Medicare is doing is looking back to your tax returns 2 years in the history, 2 years ago, and looking at what your modified adjusted gross income is. Not only are they looking for active income, they're looking for passive income. And they assign a payment rate or a premium based upon those numbers, not based upon how your health is today, or what your active income is, or your passive income is today. But 2 years ago is how they're doing that. And they have a whole grid out there with different premium rates based upon the modified adjusted gross income.
Interesting. I can just sense your experience, Derek. Yeah, a lot of value there. I want to talk to you about that in a minute, but a few things I want to mention. For your continuing disability review, when your call came in, your membership came up that we have here. Okay. And at the Disability Digest, we have a comprehensive how to survive your CDR course. It's available to members, and we release it based on request and demand. So what I would say is you can make note of that. And when you get a CDR letter, we can send you the course, or I can start the course now for you, but it may be updated. And if you want to get the latest version, then it'd be better to get it like close to when you get your CDR. It was put together with attorney James Mitchell Brown, who's been a guest speaker here, but it works great. It tells you how to prepare, what to do when you get the forms, how to fill them out, what happens if you get denied, all that stuff. And that's no charge to members. So make note of that. The other thing is, in looking at your membership, your Gmail address that I won't read to everybody that's out there, when you joined us, we sent you a membership confirmation request so we could continue to communicate with you via email, but it wasn't confirmed. So that means at some point in time, the email carrier is going to shut off your membership. So I'm going to send you now, again, the confirmation request. It'll say Disability Digest membership confirmation required. This applies to anybody out there. If you're going to join us, right after you join us, you're going to be sent a confirmation saying, hey, just want to make sure that you want to receive information, invites to live events, etc., from the Disability Digest. You just click on the link in there, and then you are good to go. So have a look for that.
Just received it. Yes, sir. Just received it, Brian. Very good.
Okay, perfect. And then the other thing, for jobs, I mean, we are blessed to be in a situation where we have some projected growth that's going to be very nice for the ongoing time. But one thing that, and I don't know really where you fit in, but I'll just kind of take a shot at this. One of the, in my opinion, one of the best ways for individuals that are disability recipients to supplement their income is to work here as a licensed insurance agent to help people with their insurance decisions, primarily with Medicare. So individuals come to us, they request a benefit review. We look at their benefits and we look at all of their benefits, like what are the things they're paying for that they shouldn't be, what they're entitled to and they're not getting. But a lot of the decision process, what drives it, especially for those that have specific conditions or low income needs, is what their decision choice is for access to Medicare. And so you need to be an insurance agent. So doing that work is an area that is not super time sensitive. You can do it part-time. And then, you know, the income is upfront, and then there's a residual income component to it that we're paid by the insurance companies. And that passive income component is not considered earned income. That's one of the key things that we've learned. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't know if you've ever considered going in that direction, but with your experience, maybe something to consider.
Yeah, it's something I would consider and like to follow up with you on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for sure, well, listen, thank you for calling in and thanks for sharing your information. And yeah, just reach out to us and you have our contact information and email, and we can get on the phone with you and share some information and take it from there.
That would be great. I appreciate it. And thanks for all you do.
All right. Thanks as well. Enjoy St. Louis.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You
Thank
bet.
you. Take care.
All right, Derek.